Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Elementally Intuitive Movement 101, Week 10, Level 1. Back to finding our center, but this time focusing on our different spheres of attention, spheres of awareness. So finding our center there's a sphere of attention. And within this sphere of attention, we're holding ourselves upright. We're engaging these muscles. That's part of the sphere of attention. But then within there, we have our organs, and our lungs, our heart, our stomach. Information, communication from our intestines, from the gut brain, goes to the head brain. Our hearts communicate to our brains as well. Our breath rate communicates to our nervous systems. And it's what we can control. So that's another aspect, right? That's another sphere of perception that we've been juggling, is our breath. And our breath comes from our center, because here we have our lungs and our diaphragm that assist in the process of breathing. And our heart processes that oxygen and helps distribute it to the rest of our bodies so that all of our cells and vessels can continue to thrive and live, so that we can be here doing what we are right now, which is practicing level 1, thinking about our spheres of perception. So center, breath, inhaling through our nostrils so that our nose can serve as a filter, exhaling slowly, easily, pausing on the exhale so that more nitric oxide can build up inside our noses before we take the next breath in. So many spheres of attention there within breath. Our feet, our foundation, our base there. Is it in alignment with our knees so that our knees are getting the distribution of force better, so that the discs are getting nice even wear? Do we feel grounded? Do we feel connected? Do we feel stable as we explore our environments and move through space with our hands still connected to our bodies? Level low, level 1, level 2, we have our foundation, our base is planted. It can change orientation, so we get a sense for how it feels to move through space in this orientation versus a different orientation, and access our bodies as we continue finding our centers, thinking about breath, center, feet, and how it feels as we're moving through space. Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? If it's uncomfortable, shift, change, try it a different way. It's another sphere of attention. How does it feel? What do I need to do? How do I need to shift for it to feel different? For it to feel more preferable and pleasant and practical for me? So many spheres of attention, and we have our near sphere, that space that we access with our O hands between ourselves and our hands close to us. Our center, near sphere, expanding out into our spheres, our larger spheres, having that sphere of awareness that's passing on through our greater environments. What's happening in our greater environments? Are there other spheres, other vessels navigating through our space that we're sharing together? How do we affect them? How do they affect us? All spheres of attention that we're juggling all the time, that we don't usually have time to think about on the level that we get to think about it now. Because now that we're in our 4th cycle of practicing elementally intuitive movement, you don't really have to think about these other things so much, right? You've gotten to practice. We've been training our autopilots. So we can think about this on a level that we didn't get to think about before. And that's part of what we're practicing, is thinking about what we're doing and how we're doing and why. So that way, when we're out in the world in situations where we don't have control over all of our parameters the way that we may when we're practicing EIM, we can adapt more easily. We can trust that our autopilots know how to move through space in an effective way. And when it comes to our choices, I personally feel that if I maintain my choices within guidelines, the way that if I maintain my movement with EIM within certain guidelines, I'm now free to move in many different ways, but within these limitations. Like with level 1, my limitation is hands on my body, maintaining contact with my vessel at all times, and my feet planted. Even though they can change orientation, my feet are planted. So as I'm accessing my vessel, I'm now exploring different ways to reach myself. But within those parameters, there's still a lot of movement. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of creative ways that we can figure out and learn and explore. That's what we're doing. And as we're doing that, we're getting a better sense of proprioception of where our bodies are in space, and we're mobilizing. And thinking about these individual spheres of perception, you can focus on one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then start adding in multiple balls. And if you drop one, that's okay. We're practicing EIM in a safe space and environment. If you drop a ball, you can pick it back up again and get back to what you're doing. Part of what we're practicing is dropping balls, recognizing that we've dropped the balls and picking them back up again effortlessly and fluidly, so no one knows that a ball was ever dropped. Because we've been practicing adapting to the dropping of balls and the picking them up again. And all right, here we are for level 1, thinking about our spheres of perception, attention to attention, and how through practicing paying attention to what we're doing and how it feels and checking in with all the different mirrors helps to better support our vessels, so that as we're navigating through life, our autopilots can better support us when our consciousness might be off thinking about other things, because we're human, we'll do that sometimes. And it's fun to do that, and it's nice to be able to trust that we can let our thoughts stray and that our vessels are okay. Yes, yes. All right, thank you so much. See y'all for level 2 as we expand into our spheres, continuing to think all about all of these spheres of attention. In the meantime, just focus on level O and level 1. As you think about these things, I find that the more slowly I move, the easier it is for me to process all of the information. If I move too quickly, I'm gonna drop a ball. And that's okay. Moving slow is a good practice as well. It's more challenging to move slowly than it is to move quickly, but there's also less risk of injury when we move quickly, or rather, when we move slowly than when we move quickly. There's much greater risk of injury when we move quickly than when we move slowly, but we are more greatly challenged by gravity when we're moving slowly, because we don't get the momentum, the force of momentum that builds up when we have speed to carry us through emotion. There's just more things to practice and play with. Be creative as you explore space, as we explore our vessels in space together. Yay! Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing every day. In whatever way you can. because you can, because you can.